What's up, everyone? Ben with BTC Sessions here, and this is your daily session.
Hodl that Bitcoin.
Before we dive into the news, just a couple quick reminders here. Please do check out my website, btcsessions.ca. There you can reach out to me to book me for your own BTC session. We can chat Bitcoin, wallets, proper security, anything you like. Just scroll down to the bottom. There is a contact form where you can reach out to me. Further to that, there is also a Teespring link where you can pick up some swag like the hashtag Bitcoin Twitter shirt or some stuff with my face on it. And finally, did want to touch on this again. This is coming up next week. Very excited for the Bitcoin Rodeo, the Blockchain and Technology Symposium coming up on March 5th and 6th. Saifedean Ammous, author of the Bitcoin Standard, is going to be there. Francis Pouliot, my boss, is going to be speaking. Rodolfo Novak from Opendime is going to be there. Lots of great people. So if you're in the Edmonton area, March 5th and 6th, do check it out. The link to that will be down below, bitcoinrodeo.com. And without further ado, let's dive into the news. Now, first thing I wanted to touch on here is a tweet that I saw earlier today, and I retweeted it and commented on it. But anyways, it's more of a commentary on the price and kind of the long-term trajectory. So there's always people commenting on stuff like this, but this one jumped out at me because it more or less mirrors what I've been kind of presuming over the past year or so. So I put out a video in March of 2018 saying that essentially the rest of the year would really, really suck and there'd be a lot of downside, and then there would be a lot of sideways action through the next year, and we wouldn't see much upside until maybe kind of end of 2019 into 2020, and the halving within a year of that, we'd perhaps start to see another crazy mania like we saw in 2017. Anyways, this little post here and the associated image kind of outline that as well. So it's kind of showing where the bear market of 2014 and 2015 lied, and then it goes on to show the same thing essentially happening now for 2018, 2019. And I do think that this idea does have some credence. I do think that this is kind of where we're at. Now, of course, I could be totally wrong and this could be totally misdirected, but I do believe that we're going to see these 4-year cycles happen, and I think a lot of sideways for the next rest of the year, and maybe towards the end of the year we'll see a little bit more positive price action, but I'm not expecting much for the next number of months here until maybe the end of 2019. Now, somebody else did weigh in on this, and I'm not a big Justin Sun fan, the Tron guy, but he seems to mirror the outlook for the rest of the year, kind of that 3 to 5K bouncing back and forth between that over the course of the year. I think that's probably relatively accurate if I had to take a wild guess. I think kind of that 3-4K range for quite some time, and then near the end of the year, maybe we'll start to see stuff in the 5 to 6K range, which would be pretty positive given the past year that we've seen. So we'll move on from there. Ripple may have violated Coinbase's crypto listing framework. And what I mean by this is Coinbase themselves may have violated the framework that they set out by listing XRP, because in that framework they state that they will not list cryptocurrency if a company controls a major stake. Now, what amount of stake does Ripple have in XRP? Well, to the tune of 60%. So way over a majority stake of that. Now, with the specific quote here, the ownership stake retained by the team is a minority stake, which is one of the requirements they set forth. These should be a lockup. There should be a lockup period and reasonable vesting schedule to ensure the team is economically incentivized to improve the network into the future. Now, the second part of that is true. There is a lot of Ripple kind of held in escrow for the long term, which is regularly sold off at set intervals. But the majority stake thing is untrue. So if Coinbase were following that to a T, they would not have been able to list XRP. But hey, they did anyways. So I don't know. Take it for what it is. It's Coinbase. Who cares? Let's move on. Now, if any of you are not familiar with Crypto Graffiti, he is an incredible artist. He's been in the space for quite some time. You may have seen me wearing some of his shirts. I've got a shirt that says, you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. I've also got another shirt that says, we are all Satoshi except for Craig Wright. I wear that one quite a bit. Anyways, he makes those shirts, but he also makes a lot of fine art, some really, really cool pieces here. Some of the more notable things that he's done recently is he did something to commemorate Hal Finney, so the 10th anniversary of Hal Finney's involvement in Bitcoin, and he made this piece of art here, which is actually bits and pieces of torn up credit card put together in a portrait of Hal Finney. And at the bottom, there is an actual piece, the signature of Hal Finney's real credit card, which he got from his wife as a donation. Now, inside of this entire piece, it was actually a working Bitcoin full node, which is really, really cool. And in order to operate, it had to be connected to the artwork. Now, another piece that he did is called the Black Swan, and it was this tiny, tiny little artwork, and he auctioned it off to the smallest possible bidder via the Lightning Network. So a fraction of a Satoshi ended up buying that piece of art. Well, he's at it again, and he's got this time a charitable project in Venezuela. Actually, Colombia is where this is based, because if he was in Venezuela, there might be some repercussions. But essentially, he made this big mural of Maduro, the, we'll say, dictator of Venezuela. So essentially, there is a lot of stuff going on in Venezuela in regards to hyperinflation, 1,000,000% inflation. People are starving. They need to get rid of their money the second they get their hands on it so that they avoid that inflation. And Bitcoin has been a part of that in helping people preserve their purchasing power. Well, essentially, this mural that he's put together is entirely made of 1,000 Bolivar notes. And there is a live stream happening, and every time a donation comes into the donation address, a Venezuelan citizen goes up to the mural and pulls off one of the notes until eventually the entire mural will be gone and pulled apart by Venezuelan citizens. I think it's a really cool project. I recommend checking it out. I will link to this article down below, as well as the actual page where you can go and interact with Crypto Graffiti and donate yourself. And finally, let's dive into one other thing. Now, I saw this just today, actually, though it happened yesterday. So the Lightning Network torch has been going around for some time now, and it's been popping all over the world, person to person. It's been to, I don't even know how many people by now, but with a notable exception, there is an individual from Iran that really, really wanted to hold the Lightning torch and pass it on. But Iran is on the sanctions list, and that means, as a U.S. citizen, you cannot legally send any amount of money to any person or business in Iran without basically violating the law. You can get in a lot of trouble for that, potentially prison, who knows. Now, same thing with receiving. You can't, once the torch would have been in Iran, if that person were to send to a U.S. citizen, again, also illegal for that person to even receive it. Well, solution. Now, on main chain Bitcoin, Samurai Wallet has put together something called paynims, and paynims allow you to essentially obscure a number of things, including the destination, the amount, the addresses. All of that is obfuscated, so you cannot tell. You essentially add somebody as a contact, and you can transact freely in between each other, request payments, so on and so forth, without anybody on the outside seeing who and where it's going from. It's basically totally hidden. So really, really cool stuff. And wouldn't you know it, they started the Paynim torch, and it's on the move. It's already been, you can see here, it's already been to Iran. So really cool development. It's the best thing about Bitcoin is that every time there's an issue or some sort of an obstacle in its way, it finds a way around it. And paynims have actually been out for a while. I did a video on the Samurai Wallet. Unfortunately, I did not touch on paynims when I initially created the video, but I'm looking at going back and doing that again because it is a great main chain solution when it comes to private transactions, and I recommend you guys to check it out. I will have this link here as well from Samurai that kind of describes a little bit more in detail what PayNams are and how they function. So I encourage you to check that out. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it there. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit up the website, the Teespring, and of course, if you're going to be in Edmonton on March 5th and 6th, do grab yourself some tickets down below for the Bitcoin Rodeo, and I will hopefully see you there. Thanks again, and I will see you guys tomorrow for your daily session.